You've seen that total revenue is the money a firm receives from selling goods or services, and that profit is total revenue minus total cost. Profit is also the firm owner's source of income. The lure of profit is a major reason why entrepreneurs start businesses. And once a business is in operation, its owners would generally strive to make the largest possible profit. In this video, we'll examine how that is done. The amount of output that gives a firm as much profit as possible is called the firm's profit maximizing output level. Now, how does the firm find this output level? One approach begins with a calculation of the firm's total revenue, which is the price charged multiplied by the quantity sold at each output level. So this table once again shows Blade Runner's total revenue in column 8, right here. So for example, when Blade Runner mows 17 lawns for $20 each, its total revenue is 17 times 20, which is the price per lawn right there, and that equals $340. So that will be their total revenue. We are now ready to calculate Blade Runner's profit at each output level, as we see here in column 9. The profit earned at a particular level of output is simply the total revenue at that output level, right here, total revenue, minus the total cost at that output level, which is shown in column 5. So for example, when Blade Runner mows 17 lawns, as we saw right here, its total revenue is $340, while its total cost is $260. Thus, 340 minus 260 equals 80, so Blade Runner earns a profit of $80. Once the profit is calculated for each output level, we can now find the profit maximizing output level, or levels, very easily. If you run your finger down column 9, right here, you'll see that the profit increases up to a quantity of 21 lawns, right here. And it remains the same for 24 lawns. It's 100 at 21 and 24 lawns. And then it decreases for higher quantities of lawns. Notice that the profit begins to go down. It goes down to 80, then 40, then negative 40. So Blade Runner can earn its maximum profit by mowing either 21 or 24 lawns. And if we are indifferent, we will tend to mow the higher number of lawns. So, Blade Runner will mow 24 lawns and make a profit of $100. That would be their profit maximizing output level. Now, in a previous chapter, you learned that individuals can make good decisions by taking actions that provide a marginal benefit that exceeds the marginal cost. The same type of marginal analysis guides firms to their profit maximizing output level. Because profit is measured in dollars, so is the marginal benefit of producing and selling more output. The additional revenue a firm receives from selling another unit of output is called the firm's marginal revenue. For price-taking firms like Blade Runner in perfectly competitive markets, the price is the same no matter how much output they produce, and the marginal revenue is simply the price of each unit. That is, Blade Runner's marginal revenue is $20 right here, no matter how many lawns it mows. A future chapter explains that marginal revenue falls below the price for monopolies and other firms that must lower their price in order to sell more. Firms compare the marginal revenue with the marginal cost when deciding whether to increase production. Suppose a firm is considering a new, higher output level. If the marginal revenue exceeds the marginal cost for that increase in production, then the additional output will add more to total revenue than to total cost, and profit will rise. By contrast, if the marginal revenue is less than the marginal cost, profit will decline as output increases. This suggests a simple rule for the firm. Increase production as long as the marginal revenue, given by the price here, is greater than the marginal cost. So as long as this number right here is greater than this number right here, you should continue to produce. But do not increase production if marginal revenue is less than marginal cost. Now, let's see how this logic works at Blade Runner. If output rises from 0 to 6 lawns, right here, let me erase that. Output rises from 0 to 6 lawns right here. The marginal revenue is $20, right there. The marginal cost is $10. So profit rises as output increases to 6 lawns. As you can verify in this table that shows the marginal revenue of $20 continues to exceed the marginal cost. In other words, 20 is greater than 10, it's greater than 12, it's greater than 15, and then when we get to this point right here, the marginal revenue and the marginal cost are the same. They're both 20. So it increases in output up to 21 lawns. So Blade Runner will hire at least the 4 workers needed to mow 21 lawns. When Blade Runner hires the 5th worker, which is right here, okay, to increase output from 21 to 24 lawns, the marginal revenue and the marginal cost, of course, are the same. They're equal at $20. For this move, each additional lawn adds the same amount of revenue as it adds to cost, so profit will not change. Blade Runner will be indifferent about increasing output from 21 to 24 lawns. The owners might as well flip a coin to decide between these quantities. To simplify our view of these situations, we can assume that the firm does go ahead and produce the last unit for which marginal revenue equals marginal cost. But now, consider the option to hire a 6th worker right here and increase output from 24 to 26 lawns. For this change, the marginal revenue of $20 is less than the marginal cost of $30. So profit actually falls from $100 to $80 right here. We don't like that. Blade Runner should not make this change. So, in general, the profit-maximizing output level can be found where the marginal revenue and the marginal cost are equal. At that output level, all changes for which marginal revenue exceeds marginal cost have been exploited. If the marginal revenue never equals the marginal cost, profit is maximized at the largest quantity for which the marginal revenue exceeds the marginal cost. Blade Runner's marginal cost and marginal revenue are equal at an output of 24 lawns per day. Thus, Blade Runner will maximize profit by mowing 24 lawns and earning $100 in daily profit. The information for this quantity of output is bold in this table. You can see for yourself that no quantity of output provides a higher level of a profit for Blade Runner than 24 lawns per day and hiring 5 workers to do it. So that is the decision that Blade Runner will make to maximize its profit. So that takes us then to the profit-maximizing rule. The profit-maximizing rule is that firms will produce where MR equals MC. MR stands for marginal revenue, MC stands for marginal cost. And where marginal revenue and marginal cost are equal, that is where profit will always be maximized. And that is called the profit-maximizing output rule, and you should know it and memorize it. This tells you the quantity of output that a firm will produce and how much input, such as workers, it will hire to produce it. So marginal analysis helps us understand the logic behind the firm's supply curve discussed earlier in this chapter. Marginal cost is the cost of producing another unit, and marginal revenue is the revenue gained from selling another unit. In a perfectly competitive market, the marginal revenue is the price of the good. If the price is greater than the marginal cost, the firm's profit will rise as it produces more. If the price is below the marginal cost, the firm will earn higher profit by producing less. The fact that marginal cost rises as output increases means that a profit-maximizing firm will produce more output only if the price rises. This explains the law of supply. So this brings us to our last question. To be or not to be in business? What makes an entrepreneur decide to start a firm? The answer is profit. If an entrepreneur thinks a firm can make a profit at some level of output, she or he will have an incentive to take the necessary risks and make the necessary investments to start the firm. We saw that Blade Runner's total revenue exceeded its total cost at output levels between 12 and 27, so Blade Runner is profitable. An entrepreneur with the information in the previous table would decide to go into business supplying lawn mowing services. Entrepreneurs may be hit by unexpected events after going into business, however. The price of their product could fall or their costs could rise. For some period of time, these events can cause profit to turn negative, even when the firm is producing the best possible output level. When a firm faces a loss, the entrepreneur must decide whether to keep operating or shut down until conditions change. But how should the entrepreneur make this critical decision? If the firm's total revenue is below its variable cost, the entrepreneur is wise to shut down the firm. Why is this the case, though? Because a firm's variable cost is paid only if the firm stays open. Only if it stays open. If the variable cost that can be avoided by shutting down is larger than the revenue to be gained by staying open, losses are minimized by shutting down. For instance, if the price received is $9 per lawn, Blade Runner would have to pay its workers more than it received from customers. If it hired the 5 workers needed to mow 24 lawns, for example, its variable cost would be $60 times 5, or $300, and its total revenue would be $9 times 24, or $216. Thus,